Shabbat Shalom. Before we pray, we always bless the Most High by saying, Baruch et Yahweh. Baruch et Yahweh HaMevarach. Baruch atah Yahweh HaMevarach le'elam vayed. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'alam. Asher bikar benu makol hamayim v'natan lanu ha'torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha'torah. Is to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, to our King, our provider, our sustainer, our healer, and our El. Do we come to you today, Master, with bowed head and humble hearts, asking you, O King, begging you, Master, to forgive us of our sins. Cleanse us of unrighteousness, Master, that our prayers be not hindered this morning, that you would turn out a deaf ear to our cries, but you would lend ear to our supplications, and let our words come before you, Master, and let them pierce your ears, and that you would pay attention, Master, to what we have to say today, and that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts will be acceptable in thy sight. Hear us, O King, when we call on you, for we are your people, Israel, and you said that your eye was always upon us. Although, Master, we sinned against thee, us and our ancestors, O King, we pray that you would forgive them too, and you said that you would turn your head away from us and you would see what would happen to us. But, Master, you said that when we ponder upon those things and we ponder what has happened to us and we look back, O King, and that we turn back to you, that you shall also turn back to us. So the remnant of your people, Master, are gathered here today. Look upon us, O Master, with mercy and with kindness. The people across this world, O Master, that are gathered in your name today, and only in your name, O King, and that we fear your great name, that you would look upon us, Master, as one collective group, but you would also look upon us individually, and you know that you know our needs, Master. You know our wants, and you know our desires, Master. And, Master, you know those things that are important to us, O King, and that you would answer our prayers, that you would hinder those that will come against us and all forces of evil, Master, but you would turn them away. O King, we come to you today with our bowed head and humble hearts, Master, your faithful few. Look upon us today, O King, and have a tender heart towards us. And when you think upon those that are gathered here today within the sound of my voice, that you would have mercy upon us and think upon and have tender kindness towards us, O King, and that you would speak things towards us that are beneficial to our health and welfare. Master, we ask that you would look upon those that are sick in their bodies today, that desire to be here today, O King, and that would desire to assemble today, that you would also count them in the number that are obeying your mitzvot on this seventh day that you said that you rested, and we shall also rest. So your covenant people here are gathered together, Master, your faithful witnesses. And we stand before you today, O King, that we come to praise you. We come to praise the name of Yahweh. And we thank you, Master, for all things. We thank you for life, health, and strength, food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. For you keep providing for us, O King, and we thank you for that. We thank you for our children that you have kept safely, O King. And we come to praise and worship only you on your set-apart day. Have mercy upon us, O King. Have mercy upon your people that do not know you. Those that will gather tomorrow, Master, to worship the Son. Those that will gather to worship another king. But we know that you are the only rock, and besides thee there is no other. Master, we ask that you would open the ears of those that are deaf, and that you would open the eyes of those that are blind, Master, that they read your word every day, but they have no revelation, O King. For we are on the wall blowing the trumpet, trying to warn them. We want to warn them, O King, that there's a great day coming and a great judgment, for they not know your judgment, neither do they know your laws. But we come today to worship you and with gladness in our hearts. For we was glad when they said unto us, let us go into the house of Yah. And I thank you. I thank you. We thank you. We thank you, O King. We thank you for the leaders of this congregation. Master, we ask that you would continue to encourage them and build them up where they're weak, and strengthen them. Strengthen them where they're weak and build them up where they're torn down, O King. And that you would see and speak great things towards this congregation, Master, and that you would keep us assembled here. That we ask that once we depart from this place, that you would stay with us, O King, and that you would keep us alive and well until we meet here again. This is our prayer.
Amen to everybody, and shalom to you. We're going to read today from the Helium, Psalms chapter 66 and 67. Let us read. Shout to Yah, all the earth. Sing the glory of his name. Make his praise glorious. Tell Yahweh how awesome are your deeds. At your great power, your enemies cringe. All the earth bows down to you. Sing praises to you. Sing praises to your name. Come and see what Yah has done, his awesome dealings with humankind. He turned the sea into dry land. They passed through the river on foot. There we rejoiced in him. With his power he rules forever. His eyes keep watch on the nations. Let no rebel arise to challenge him. Bless our El, you peoples. Let the sound of his praise be heard. He prepares our lives and keeps our feet from stumbling. For you, Yahweh, have tested us, refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net and bound our bodies fast. You made men ride over our backs. We went through fire and water. You brought us out to a place of plenty. I will come to your house with burnt offerings, and I will fulfill my vows to you. Those my lips pronounced and my mouth spoke when I was in distress. I will offer you burnt offerings of fatted animals, along with the sweet smoke of rams. I will offer bulls and goats. Come, listen, all you who fear Yah, and I will tell what he has done for me. I cried out to him with my mouth. His praise was on my tongue. I had cherished evil thoughts. Yahweh would not have listened. But in fact, Yah did listen. He paid attention to my prayer. Blessed be Yahweh, who did not reject my prayer or turn his grace away from me. 67. Yahweh is gracious to us and blessed us. May he make his face shine toward us, so that your way may be known on earth, your salvation among the nations. Let the peoples give thanks to you, Yahweh. Let the peoples give thanks to you, all of them. Let the nations be glad and shout for joy. For you will judge the peoples fairly and guide the nations on earth. Let the peoples give thanks to you, Yahweh. Let the people give thanks to you, all of them. The earth has yielded its harvest. May Yahweh our El bless us. May Yahweh continue to bless us, so that all the ends of the earth will fear him. Amen. You may be seated. It's always good to be able to be in the house of the congregation of the saints and of the people of the mouth of the Most High. He did say where two or three are gathered, he would be in the midst of us. So we're happy to have the Most High in the midst of us here today on this Sabbath day. Our world is ever changing, and things are not what they used to be. But our faith and our confidence and our trust is in the one who has created us and in the one who has said to us, my eyes are always up on you. Yahweh is faithful to his people, and we want to continue to worship him, and we want to continue to be in the place where his blessings will continuously be upon us. We're going to start today in Ezekiel chapter number 6. This is First Tabernacle Fellowship, also known as Yahweh's Exiled Empire. I think I need to put that up there. And I would also like to say to you, I'm very thankful for those of you who have heeded our plea for your contributions here to First Tabernacle Fellowship so that we can continue to do what we do here and provide you with teachings that come from this house. The QR code is on the screen behind me, and also the P.O. box where you can mail your contributions if you should show desire to do so. We're very happy to receive them. It helps us to be able to continue to do what we do. First Tabernacle Fellowship is a very peculiar ministry. It's particularly different from the majority of our Hebrew congregations, and with that being the case, it's difficult, I think, for some people to understand our stance. We are deaf on idolatry. As the Most High hates it, likewise, we reflect his feelings and his emotions towards idolatry, and also to anybody or anything that wants to make themselves equal to him. We are deaf on. And I realize that a lot of people can't wrap their head around Yeshua or Jesus Christ not being God manifested in the flesh. I realize that. It's a hard one for them to get off of. But we have given the proof. We have given the evidence that supports that position. You might want to go and listen to the last 4 or 5 podcasts that we've done on the subject of the issue of that matter and the history that surrounds it. And with that being the case, I don't know what to tell you. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for the ability to explain it in any other way, other than to say to you, particularly to our people, I'm going to take the slave road. When Massa begins to preach and tell you that Jesus Christ is not the Son of God, then you'll listen. Then you will listen. And you will then begin to promote the truth as they have begun to proclaim in many white congregations and pronounce the name of Yahweh. And I see that some of our melanated churches are beginning to use it. I mean, you wait till, my father always used to say, why do you wait for somebody else to do something? Why can't you be a leader? We used to sing all the James Cleveland songs, and he said, why do you have to wait for James Cleveland to come out and sing a song before you want to sing it? Why can't you just be a leader? And I see that amongst our people here as it applies to Scripture. We're locked into a European theological mindset that's not designed for our salvation. All right. We're going to do a lot of reading today. There's not a lot to break down in the first several chapters of Ezekiel, but it sets the tone for us to be able to understand the nature of why things are the way they are and why we are in this exile. Ezekiel is like all of the prophets. All of the prophets follow the same model. They're going to tell you all of the bad and disgusting things that Hebrew Israel has done that has made the Most High angry. Then they're going to give you some history about your history, your upbringing, how you came into existence. Ezekiel is probably the only one that goes back and gets all of the history with the birth of the nation and how they were birthed and how they came about. And then he'll bring us along, talk about all of the conquest that we have been subject to and all the nations that we've been subject to and how the Most High feels about them. Then he'll begin to turn and direct our attention to our future redemption, and he'll close with the rebuilding or the blueprints for the rebuilding of the temple and things of that nature. He's very, very concise in this matter. But we're going to begin in chapter number 6 today, leaving off from chapter number 5. In chapter number 5, there was a lot of things that the Most High talked about that were bad, that were going to happen to Hebrew Israel. He talks in there, chapter 5, about a famine so much, and about the children of Israel being in such a distressful time that they would even eat their children. I mean, that's disgusting. But that's what happens when you don't have the provisions that he's provided for you over the course of time so that you can sustain yourself, be healthy, be vibrant, and walk under his rule. Chapter 6 is going to continue some of that same language as we walk through it. We'll begin at chapter 6, verse number 1. The word of Yahweh came to me, human being, face toward the mountains of Israel and prophesy against them. The mountains of Israel hear the word of Yahweh Elohim. Here is what Yahweh Elohim says about the mountains, the hills, the ravines, and the valleys. I myself will bring a sword, meaning I'm going to bring a tool of destruction against you. Destroy your high places, your altars will be wrecked, and your pillars for sun worship broken, and I will throw down your slain ones in front of your idols. The word idol in this text is derived from the Hebrew word galal. Dung describes idols as foul-smelling and contemptuous. So now, why the mountains? We've got two things that go on in Ezekiel. He prophesies against Jerusalem, and he brings harsh words about Jerusalem. Now he's turning to the mountains. Why does he point these two places out? It's not that the temple and it's not that the mountains have done anything wrong. It's that the people have corrupted the temple and they have corrupted the mountains with their idol worship. So since the temple has been corrupted by your contemptuous ways of failing to honor and walk in the ways that I'm giving you, I'm going to destroy it, one. Number two, first of all, before I destroy it, I'm going to leave it. One of the things that Israel never understood, because they held such high esteem for Jerusalem and the temple, that they believed in their heart of hearts that no matter what they did, the Most High Spirit would always reside in the temple where all of the articles were. One of the things that we understand from the vision that Ezekiel's having at the river Kavar is we have all of these signs of these Malakim, the wheels, the chariot, and all of these things lifting and rising, which are symbolic of his spirit leaving. He left the temple, which allowed the temple to be destroyed and burnt down. Now he's prophesying to the mountains where Israel would go, set up their idols and their worship, just like all of the nations did. So now he's saying to them, I'm going to wreck your pillars for sun worship. Sun worship is the key thing that we're dealing with here, and one of the things that is very difficult for a Hebrew person to wrap their head around, because we understand what sun worship is. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is going to be a high sun worship day in the world, as they worship Astarte, Easter, Astarte. I was at a Christian house this week. I had to go there for a particular reason, and as I walked up on the porch, there was a little moniker there that said Happy Easter. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm going, you got this moniker here that says Happy Easter, but when we talk about libations, you go, oh, we don't do libations. What like? I'm going, anyway. He says about the situation here in chapter 6, verse 5. I will lay the corpse of the people of Israel in front of their idols and scatter your bones all around your altars. Everywhere you live, the cities will be destroyed and the high places wrecked, so that your altars can be destroyed and wrecked, your idols broken and abolished. Now, there's an interesting aspect about the abolishment and destruction of idols, because once an idol is destroyed, the powers attributed to it and its symbolic values are gone. It is then that people realize the ineffectiveness of the idol. Our problem with the main idol that we're confronted with is this man who wants to portray himself as being the Most High, is that they put a piece in there that's different than the idols that Israel actually worshiped, because the idols that Israel actually worshiped were handmade idols, or idols of wood, brass, and the Most High tore them down. They were no longer able, they didn't reconstruct them. One of the key points that they put in their idol was their idol, while he was broken down, he was killed, and he laid in a grave, he sprang back to life again. So it put hope back into their idolatrous structure, whereas the idols that our forefathers made with wood and steel and metal, he tore those down, and then they were able to realize that those idols did not have the power to reincarnate themselves. Your pillars for sun worship cut down, and the things you have made wiped out. The slain will fall among you. Then you will know that I am Yahweh. Now, one of the things as we read prophetic text is prophetic text gives us a window of the past, but the window of the past is also a look into the future. Things that we're reading here in Ezekiel now, many of them have not come to pass, or many of them did come to pass with Israel being in captivity Babylonian captivity and Assyrian captivity, they went through a lot of the things that we're reading about. These things will materialize again as we get further down line into the culmination of the redemptive period of Hebrew Israel. Now, you notice that he is very deaf on this issue of sun worship. Sun worship. It's interesting to me, and I say this all the time, it's interesting to me that men with the ability to have degrees and various cognitive thought process in reading don't understand where they are when it comes to Scripture. And I believe that one of the reasons is the reason it is because how the Europeans have structured the text. Many things in the European Bibles, and all Bibles are European constructed, are written to support their theological premise. So you can read through a King James writing, you can read through an amplified writing, you can read through I've got them all, forget now the one I'm trying to think of. You can read through all of them, and the language that's there distorts the meaning of what's taking place. And I guess I'm kind of giving them a pass, aren't I? I don't want to give them a pass. I don't want to give them a pass. The issue is that when you're reading text, I don't care from where it is, it's telling you exactly how the Most High feels. And one of the things that he hates, he absolutely hates, he abhors, he hates idolatry. Now, if you look up the word hate, hate is one of the strongest emotional feelings that a person or an entity can have. I can say I don't like you, but when I say I hate you, that's a very strong emotion. That's a very strong word. The Most High hates sun worship. You can tell by the language that he's saying as he talks about it. He says, we're going to go back up here to verse 4. Your altars will be wrecked, your pillars for sun worship broken down. I will throw down your slain ones in front of your idols. 5, I will lay the corpse of the people in front of their idols and scatter their bones around their altars. Everywhere you live, I will destroy the high places, wrecked, so that your altars can be destroyed, wrecked, your idols broken and abolished. Your pillars, verse number 6 rather. Your pillars for sun worship cut down, and things you have made wiped out. The slain will fall among you, then you will know that I am Yahweh. He's talking there about sun worship. He hates it. Nevertheless, now he's being compassionate and he's being merciful. Nevertheless, I will leave a remnant. The Most High always speaks of a remnant. Some of you will escape the sword, which is destruction, among the nations when you have been scattered throughout the countries. Well, many of our people have escaped the sword. Many of them have lived, and some of them have died by virtue of the sword, which the Most High said he would do. As we go back to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 28, beginning at 28. There, where I've scattered you, you will serve Elohims, which are the product of human hands, made of wood, stone, which you can't see, hear, eat, and smell. However, from there you will seek Yahweh your Elohim, and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and being. In your distress, when all these things come upon you, in the Akarit Hamayim, which is the last days which we happen to be in, You will return to Yahweh your Elohim and listen to what he says. For Yahweh your Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not fail you, destroy you, or forget the covenant with your ancestors which he made, which he swore to them. Now, remember that we said in one of the other chapters of Ezekiel, Ezekiel begins to prophesy, and he begins to say, I want you to go speak to Hebrew Israel, and I want you to tell them the things that I'm saying, so that when these things that I speak to them begin to come upon them, they will know that there has been a prophet amongst them. So now these things that he's talking about here in this writing in Ezekiel, which he's going to talk about, and which are going to be talking about, the Most High is going to talk about in all the prophets that you and I begin to speak, and we're speaking over now, we're talking about now, we're speaking in the language of a prophet. We're only reiterating what the Most High said to the prophet. So we're speaking like a prophet. The day is going to come when all of these things are going to befall Hebrew Israel. When they do, they'll realize that there has been a prophet among them. Not someone that got up on Sunday morning or Sunday night or in a revival and spoke in a few tongues and told you about your hanging out at the club. Hanging out at the club's not a sin. That's not a sin. The come out from among you and be separate is not about coming out of the things that we do as a people in society. It's about coming out from the idolatrous ways and practices that the nations have put us in and separated us from him. That's what he wants us to come out from. Now, these things, we talk about those who escape will remember me among the nations. These things have not happened yet during our dispensation of time. Yahweh's people in this exile have no connection to Hebrew Israel's ancestors. You and I do not have we have no emotional feeling to what our ancestors went through. We're reading about it, but you know what I mean? It's like we're reading this like a story. I have no feeling. I have nothing that ties me back to my ancestors feeling the weight of a famine so strong that you're eating bird dung. I have no feeling of what it feels like from my ancestors eating their children. I can't equate to that. I have no feeling about what the Most High, when he talks about bringing a sword or destruction, I have no feeling about what that feels like. Yes, we have some historical understanding about how our ancestors have dealt with slavery in the various places that they've come from. But you and I, if we've not experienced that, you understand what I'm saying? We have no mental connection to that to understand the deep-seated feeling of what the Most High is saying here in terms of what it's going to feel like to fall into his hands of destruction. So since I have no reference, you feel me? I have no reference. I can go on doing what I'm doing. I don't have any reference that speaks to the presence of the Most High and the heat of his anger. I don't have any reference to that. So he says, these things will happen. We have no reference to it. Then they will know, verse 10, that I am Yahweh. It isn't for nothing that I said I would bring this calamity upon you. The Hebrew nation of Israel in exile has not understood nor realized the calamities that they have suffered. in this exile as being brought to them by the Most High. So when the Most High exacts judgment, we have no idea in terms of the fact that this is what's happening. We just think, well, it's just another act of the Most High. It's just an act of the divine being. You'll notice in the text as we read Ezekiel, he's going to talk a lot about fire. I don't believe that in our world, this is me speaking, I don't believe that in our world the issues that have confronted nations, particularly in terms of fire that destroys and water that destroys, I don't believe that that's just happen chance. I just don't. When things happen on a worldwide level, let's take, for example, let's back this up a minute. COVID was a worldwide level of a matter that was exacted upon humankind. However it came about was at the behest and the will of the Most High. That was an act of his judgment. Now, one of the problems that we have within the theology of understanding the Most High is that a lot of people don't believe that the Most High would exact judgment on humankind. They read it, but when it happens, they're oblivious to it because El wouldn't do that to us. God is loving, he's compassionate, and he shows grace and mercy. So we talk about those four elements of his attributes, but we never talk about his judgment, because his judgment is harsh. His judgment, they don't realize that his judgment is also love, which is the reason why the writer Ezekiel could look at the roll, the scroll, which had woes and had bad things in it, and look at it and say, oh, it tastes like honey, it's sweet in my mouth, but then turn around when the Most High has given him the commission to go speak to Israel, now he says it's bitter. Because now I've got to confront people with it. Because the issue is that the Father's word is sweet. It may be harsh, but he's like a parent who brings judgment in order to exact correction. Ooh, I never understood growing up how my mother and my father was not the disciplinarian. My mother would beat, well, yeah. I can't say whoop. My mother beat me. And she would tell me, I'm doing this because I love you. That never, as a child, you know, I got whelps all over my back where I put my hand to block the whip and the switch. It's got whelps on it. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is love? You know? We never equated to that because we didn't understand that what was happening, I'm doing this because I love you. I'm trying to save you from yourself. So, when we look at verse 9, it talks about those of you who escape will remember me among the nations from where you are been exiled, how broken I have been over their whoring hearts that left me and over their eyes that went whoring after their idols. They're going to loathe themselves for all the evils they have committed in their disgusting practices. We just don't have any, we have no feeling that brings us to an issue where we can understand really what the Most High is saying. Then they will know that I am Yahweh, and it isn't for nothing that I said I'm bringing this calamity upon you. Here is what Yahweh Elohim says. Strike with your hand, stamp with your foot, and bemoan all the terrible, disgusting practices of the house of Israel. Now he's speaking to Ezekiel to do this. For they will fall by the sword, famine, and plague. Those far away will die from the plague. Those nearby will fall by the sword, and whoever stays is besieged will die from famine. This is how I will spend my fury on them. For what? For what? For what? I mean, has anybody in here, have any of you in here have you been angry with somebody to the point where you want to bring have you felt that? Have you felt like I just want to well, the Most High is that he's that except for he is unleashing. He has unleashed, and he's going to unleash his fury upon those individuals who have and nations that have angered him. He is an Elohim of love. He is an Elohim of compassion. He is an Elohim of grace and mercy. And he is an Elohim that gets absolutely angry. Which is the reason why he said it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of an angry El, an angry Yah. The sad part about what I'm saying is that people don't even recognize. Here's the sad part. They don't even recognize and know when they have fallen in his hands. That, my friend, is a sad thing. You know why that's a sad thing? Because having done so, you don't recognize that there is a means of correcting the place where you are by teshuvah and repentance and turning back. It's a simple correction. But if you don't recognize that you're in it, you don't have a sense of a need of a feel to teshuvah or repent for your actions. You follow me? And you know what? We see this every day. I look at people and they don't recognize that the calamities that they're in are calamities that they have brought up on themselves, which is the judgment of the most. Now, one of the texts over there in the Greek text is true. It may be a philosophical, we may pin it as a philosophical statement, but it is true. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. That's true. That happens. And guess what? The issue is, you don't even, when it happens, you don't even recognize why it's happening. Yeah. For those far away, okay, verse 13. You will know that I am Yahweh when their slain men are lying among their idols, around their altars, on every high hill, on every mountaintop, under every green tree, under every thick pistachio tree, wherever they offered sweet-smelling sacrifices to appease their idols. I will stretch out my hand over them and make the land wherever they live into a desolate waste worse than the Divla desert. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. The Divla desert happens to be a place that is desolate and it's in ruin. It's all it says about it. Now, in chapter 6, you've heard the Most High's position of why these disasters have come or are coming upon the nation of Hebrew Israel, because of their sun worship. We can look to these things taking place once again in the end of days as we draw closer to our redemptive period. Chapter 7. The word of Yahweh came to me. As for you, human being, here is what Yahweh Elohim says about the land of Israel. Okay? Now we talked about the mountain. We talked about Jerusalem. He's talked about the mountains. He's talking about the land. He's talking about everywhere that Hebrew Israel has been, that has been part of him. Let's go back. Jerusalem, the temple, is in the land. You desecrated it. I'm going to destroy it. The mountains are where you went to worship. I'm going to cut all your idols down. I'm going to destroy it. Now, we're going to talk about, I want you to go and prophesy and talk about the land that Israel has lived in. Now, let's put it this way. I'm going to mitzvot. If a woman is in Nida, okay, and she sits someplace, then the place that she sat is defiled, and anyone that touched it is defiled. We have the same mitzvot in place here that the Most High is exacting. He's saying, every place that you have defiled, I'm going to destroy. I'm taking your temple. I'm taking your mountains. Now I'm going to take your land. Yahweh, the word of Yahweh came to me. As for you, human being, here is what Yahweh Elohim says about the land of Israel. As we read this chapter, the opening tells us what this chapter is about. It's about the land of Israel. The end is coming to the four corners of the land. Now the end is up on you, and I will send my anger up on you. Can I ask you a question? Do you think that it's because the Most High is using a person like them to speak to them that they're tuned out? Do you think maybe that's a problem? Think it's a problem? Now, let's go back somewhere. Let's go back somewhere. If I go back to Exodus, Shemot, chapter 19 and 20, when the Spirit of the Most High approached the mountain, and the Spirit of the Most High spoke from that mountain. It wasn't a man speaking. They heard the voice of the Most High to the point that they said to Moses, we don't ever want to hear that sound again. If these words that we're reading from the prophets were coming in that fashion, do you think they might have relented and turned? You think? Maybe? Maybe, huh? I mean, look how they responded when he stepped on the mountain. They were like, I mean, The voice of the Most High coming at you with thunder and with lightning and with volume and intensity. These, if his anger to the, you know what? I'm going to give the Most High props. I'm going to give him props because he could have done that. But his position is, I'm going to give you an opportunity to correct yourself. I'm going to show you compassion. I'm not going to show up. I'm going to show up, but I'm not going to show up like that, because I know if I show up like that, you all be scared to death. So I'm going to send my prophet to soften the blow. But while he's softening the blow, I want you to hear the intensity of my anger. I'm angry. And I want you to see that you're being destroyed because of my anger and your actions. I could have just said, I could have come out and hollered at you. I will judge you, listen to it. I am going to judge you according to your ways. Okay? Now remember, this word ways has a meaning all through Scripture. Ways has to do with your actions, how you live, how you deport yourself, how you carry yourself. David says, I walked in your ways, meaning I walked according to your mitzvot. I lived my life and I deported myself in your ways, your teachings, the way that you wanted me to do. So these ways, he's saying, I'm going to judge you according to the way you act. I'm going to judge you according to what's in your heart. Here's the thing that we have to understand. I look at you, you look at me. Okay? I've gotten to know Moray Appleton pretty well. I know him pretty well. But I don't know him. I know him pretty well, but I don't know him. I listen to him teach, and I hear the fire that's in his bosom about how he teaches, and I recognize that, but I still don't know him. Because what I don't know is I don't know the intensity of his heart. I have a sense of knowing, but I don't know it the way the Most High knows it. Because the Most High says, I know what, I try your heart, and I know the motives and the intensities of your heart, and guess what I'm doing? I'm going to repay you according to what I see in your heart. Song, smiling faces. Smiling faces tell lies. And just because I smile, just because I'm nice, doesn't mean that that's where my heart is. Because one of the things that Hebrew Israel did that the Most High tested them on was their hypocrisy. We're going to the temple to worship. And they went to the temple and they did all the things that they were supposed to do, but their practices that they were doing were not coming from their heart, which the Most High rejected. I don't want, so when he says, and this is the problem with Christianity, well, the Most High said he did away with sacrifice. No, he did away with the issue of you bringing me something that wasn't from your heart. I don't want your sacrifices if they're not from your heart. If they're not heartfelt. If you don't mean it, I don't want it. Hold up, Kiki. Hold up, Kiki. Oh, I got you. Hold up, Sister Beckham. We wives. Honey, I don't want what you're bringing me and what you're giving me if it's not from your heart. interesting things about women, because I lived with one for 57 years, is that they can read the shallowness of an intent. And they may not say it just so, but they give it that look like goes like, oh, okay, thank you. And if what you're giving them, they go, oh, thank you. They're saying, okay, I know what you're doing here. Okay. So our actions have to be heartfelt because the Most High reads what's in our heart. Let me tell you something. The one thing that's going to save you in the end of days, I don't care what you do, it's going to be predicated upon the motives of your heart. So I'm going to judge you according to your ways. Oh, I'm going to bring on you, Hebrew Israel, all your disgusting practices. And when I do this, my eyes are not going to spare you. Now, listen to what he's saying. Boy, I'm going to whoop you, and I'm not going to spare you. I'm not going to have any pity. I will bring your ways up on you. Your disgusting practices will be done among you. Then you will know that I am Yahweh. So your sun worship, which I hate, I'm going to put it in your face. I'm going to show you how disgusting it is. And here's what Yahweh Elohim says. Disaster, unique disaster, here it comes. For Hebrew Israel, it was Babylonian and Syrian captivity and exile, being out of their ability to control their destiny. Not being able to control their ability to do anything that they would like to want to do. Hebrew Israel, there are things we like to do that we cannot do because we're prohibited from doing them. I'm not sure moving forward how things are going to play out for the various religious factions that exist in this exile moving forward. I'm not sure. You know why I'm not sure? Because they've already set in motion instruments to tear down a lot of the freedoms that this nation established for people to have. The demigod that is running this nation now has set in motion the seed to continue to bring corruption. A lot of our freedoms are being eroded. I'm not so sure that the next administration after him, whether it be Democrat or Republican, does not follow in that same vein. So these practices, I'm not sure that, well, they've tried to make Christianity the rule for this nation that we live in. They have re-implemented the Bible being read in schools. Okay. You say, well, that's a good thing. No, it's not a good thing. Why is it not a good thing? Because if you read something without having a proper explanation as to what it's saying, one, two, or if the Bible that you're reading has been distorted in any kind of way at all, it strips away the truth that's there and leaves you with a false understanding of what the Most High is really all about. So he says to you, what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay all of your practices that you've done among you. Disaster will come, the end will come, doom will come, you will live in the land, the time has come, the day is near for tumult, not joyful shouts on the mountains. Okay? Now, you have to remember what I say. You and I don't have any idea of what our ancestors felt like in the land of Israel when they were in good standings with the Most High. You and I don't have, we don't have a sense of feeling what that's about. We don't have a sense of feeling what it felt like to celebrate Passover in the land. We don't have a sense of feeling. We don't have a sense of feeling what it felt like, what it feels like to celebrate Shabbat when it comes around, and how our ancestors felt about it. We don't have a sense of feeling how joyous of an event the Feast of Tabernacles is. You understand what I'm saying? We have an idea what a grand event it could be, but we've never experienced it, and we don't have any human being in our families that have come down that can explain to us, set us up, and, oh, this is what we did. We don't have that. We have Scripture. So he says, I'm going to judge you according to your ways. And where you are, doom has come. We've lived in doom. We're not in our land. Somebody else is occupying our land. There's no joyful shouts on the mountains. Now soon I will pour out my fury on you, and I will spend my anger on you. Now, can you imagine, just imagine in your mind, can you imagine those words coming to you out of the Shemaim from the voice of the Most High? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Can you put in place what our ancestors heard when he stepped down the mountain and gave them the utterances on the mountain? You know it was loud. You know they were scared. Now, let's take this position here and put this in that same position. How do you think Hebrew Israel would respond? Maybe? I mean, how stubborn and rebellious can you be? The voice of the Most High saying to you, I will pour out my fury on you, and I will spend my anger on you. I mean, the voice of that coming at you from the Shemaim, from the heavens. Maybe? I will judge you according to your ways. I will bring all your disgusting practices. My eye will not spare you. I will have no pity, but will bring upon you what your ways desire. Your disgusting practices will be among you. Then you will know it is I, Yahweh, striking you. Now, we don't even have a sense of understanding what it feels like to have the Most High strike us. Here is the day. Here it comes. Doom has gone out. The rod has blossomed. Arrogance has budded. Violence has grown into a rod of wickedness. Nothing is left of them. Nothing of their crowds. Nothing of their wealth. There is nothing of importance in them. He's talking about, now remember, he's talking about Hebrew Israel. The time has come, the day has arrived. Let neither buyer rejoice nor seller regret, for wrath is coming to all her many people. For the shelter will not return to what he sold. The seller, rather, will not return to what he sold, even if he is still alive. For though the vision was brought to all her many people, nobody repented. What are we hearing here? What are we hearing here? We're hearing about a people to this very day that are stubborn, self-centered, hard-headed, and I don't care what you do, I don't see it that way. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't believe anything that's being said here. And I'm saying I don't believe that anything that you're reading, Moray Holman, is ever going to happen again. This happened to Israel. Now listen to what I said. This happened to Israel. This is what I said. This happened to Israel. Guess who I'm not? I'm not Israel. So what you're reading here has no meaning to me. For though the vision was brought to all the people, nobody repented. Each kept living his own wicked life today. They weren't strong enough to repent. The shofar has sounded, everything is ready, but no one goes out to battle. For my wrath is coming to all her many people. Outside is the sword. Inside is the plague and famine. Now, you got the sword outside, you got plagues and famine inside. We have had plagues and famine. We've had the sword. And nothing has changed. We have the history of our people being, when we talk about high hills, trees, valleys, and places of that nature, my mind goes to the actions that have happened to our people in this nation in slavery. They've been hung on trees. They've been burned to death, and they've been dismembered. They've had all of the things that the Most High talks about here in Ezekiel. And yet and still, knowing this, there's no change. But if any of them manage to escape, they will head for the mountains like doves from the valleys, all of them moaning each for his sin. Now, there was a time about a couple of years ago, there was a, matter of fact, his name was Harold Camping. Harold Camping is a foreigner. He's not a Hebrew. But he had a large, vast following. And every year he prophesied that Jesus was coming. Every year he prophesied that the end was coming. And when he got real intense about it, he began to prophesy, you need he had people selling their property and selling their houses, and guess where they were going? I don't know what hills they were going to, but he wanted them, they were all going to the hills. They were moving to Idaho, and I guess there are hills in Idaho and Montana and Oregon and places of that nature. They were selling their property, and they were moving north, getting away. I don't know where they were going. And when I look at text, the text says if you go to the mountains, I'm there. If you go to the valley, I'm there. Wherever you go, I'm there. There's nowhere you can go to hide from me, so I don't know where they were going. So the Most High says to them, he says, you know what? If you escape among these, and all your moaning, each for his sin, verse 17, all hands will droop, all knees turn to water. They will put on sackcloth, horror will cover them. Every face will be ashamed, every head shaved bald. They will throw their silver into the streets. Their gold will be like something unclean. Now, what he's saying here is that all of your wealth that you have, that you've tried to savor, to protect you, is not going to be of any value to you, so you're going to throw it away. On the day of Yahweh's wrath, your silver and gold won't be able to rescue you. These things won't satisfy their hunger. These things won't fill their stomach, because these are what caused them to sin. From their beautiful jewelry, in which they took such pride, they made their abominable idols and their other detestable things. Therefore, for them I have caused it to be like something unclean. I will hand it over to foreigners as booty, to the wicked of the earth as spoil, and they will profane it. I will turn my face away from them. Then Babel, that's Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon, will profane my secret place. Robbers will enter and profane it. That's Jerusalem and the temple. Forge a chain, for the land is full of capital crimes. The city is full of violence. This is all about Hebrew Israel and where we live. The land, the temple, the land, all of these things where Hebrew Israel lived. Therefore, I will bring the worst of nations to take possession of their homes. I will end the arrogance of the strong, and their holy places will be profaned. In other words, he's saying, I am going to break you down to nothing. There was a prominent pastor that was very eloquent in his ability to speak. There was a rabbi who went to this pastor's church. It's on YouTube. They took a chair and they covered the chair with a Ashkenazi prayer cloth and wrapped it around him. They lifted this pastor on their shoulder and they paraded him through his congregation, and they told the congregation, this is your king. One of the things we're going to get to, I think, in chapter 7 now? One of the things we're going to get to is the unfolding of the hypocrisy of Hebrew Israel. It was later discovered, soon after that, since the Most High said, oh, you're their king. Well, let me just unravel you in their presence. The little boys came out, began to testify about what the king was doing to them and for them. The king happened to be a practicing homosexual. I remember the king very well because I used to watch the king too until I found out where I was and where I didn't need to be. The king was strong. He was robust. Had muscle. He didn't wear a robe. He wore muscle shirts. Had jewelry. And so he sought to pay off the little boys so the little boys wouldn't put his business out. But the Most High had already exposed it. I'm getting somewhere. I will end the arrogance of the strong. I will bring the sword of the nations to take possession. I will end the arrogance of the strong, and their holy places will be profaned. When horror comes, they will seek peace, but there will be none. Calamity will follow calamity. Rumor will follow rumor. They will seek a vision from the prophet, but Torah will perish from the Kohanim and advice from the leaders. It wasn't shortly after this that the king that was paraded through the congregation wrapped in a prayer cloth shriveled up like a prune. All this muscle just went away. He shriveled up like a prune and died. And nobody recognized it as being the judgment of the Most High being pronounced over his life. What am I trying to show you through Ezekiel? Being able to understand the anger of the Most High when it comes and recognize judgment when it falls. Verse 27. The king will go into mourning. The princes will be clothed with fright, and the hands of the people of the land will tremble in terror. I will treat them as their way of life deserves and judge them as they have judged others. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. In this example that I've given you, the congregation of people went through a very horrible time recognizing what had happened to their king. Let's go to chapter 8. We need to read through all these chapters before we can get to the meat of what's going on downstream, because these chapters set the foundation for what's going to follow. That's going to give us some meat in Ezekiel. On the 5th day of the 6th month of the 6th year, I was sitting in my house. Now, remember, the Most High has him laying on his side, so he's in the house. The leaders of Yehudah were sitting there with me. The hand of Yahweh Elohim fell upon me. That means the power, the weight of the Most High speaking to him is now upon him. I looked, and I saw what seemed like a man made of fire. From what appeared to be his waist down was fire, and from his waist upward was what appeared to be a gleaming amber-colored brilliance. The form of the hand was put out. He took me by my locks of my hair. And the Spirit lifted me between the earth and heaven and brought me in these visions from Elohim to Jerusalem to the entrance of the inner courtyard gate that faces north. There stood the idol that arouses or provokes Yahweh's jealousy and provokes his zealous indignation. Now, I want you to get a picture of this, okay? He said, he took me by a lock of my hair, okay, and lifted me. The Most High is not really angry with Ezekiel, but he's showing him an action in which that he's demonstrating something. And this is a vision. Okay? You got locks in your hair. This is like your husband grabbing you by your hair and dragging you and lifting you. He's not lifting you by your body. He's lifting you by your hair. The Most High is lifting him up by the locks of his hair and taking him so that he will be able to see what is really making me angry. There before me was the glory of Elohim of Israel, as in the vision I had seen in the valley. Then he said to me, human being, I'm going to set this chapter in place for you because I want you to see something. What you're going to hear in this chapter, you're going to hear the word see, over and over and over again. And there's a reason why see is important to the text. And it's important why the Most High wants the prophet to see. We'll get to that in a minute. Then he said to me, human being, raise your eyes toward the north. I raised my eyes toward the north and saw, north of the altar gate, this image that arose that provokes Yahweh's jealousy in the entryway. Now, I don't know what that was, but it was horrible. It was disgusting. Practices that the house of Israel is committing here. I know that it's connected to sun worship. So that I must distance myself from my own sanctuary. What's going on in my house? I can't even go into my own house. But you will see even worse abominations. Now, verse number 5 and 6, and throughout this chapter, as I said before, are about seeing. Since when we get to verse number 12, Israel is going to say, Yahweh does not see. So he's making a point here to allow the prophet to be able to see what he's seeing, because Israel is saying, oh, you don't. Come on, y'all. What are we talking about here? We're not talking. Yahweh don't see? Are you that dumb to say that the creator of all things does not see what you're doing? He brought me to the entrance of the courtyard. When I looked, I saw a hole in the wall. He said to me, human being, dig into the wall. After digging in the wall, I saw a door. He said, go in. He said, and see the wicked practices that they are engaged in. Now, Verse 8, the Most High wanted a hole dug in the wall. Verse 9 is the reason, but the reason is somewhat hidden. The hole being enlarged is so that the prophet can see the hidden nature of the hidden abominations. On the surface, people appear to be righteous, but inwardly they are spiritually corrupt. I need you to see what I'm seeing. There's a song. Yeah, I always got a song, huh? Do you see what I see? Do you hear what I hear? Ezekiel, I want you to see what I see, and I want you to hear what I hear. I want this hole in the wall to be a place where you can look in and see the hypocrisy that is going on before me. And they think that I don't see it. You think that I don't see your worship on the day of Estar Day. You think I don't see your Easter bunnies, your chickens, and you want to connect that to me. You think I don't see that. You think I don't see your idolatrous practices on sun worship, where you lift up your hands to God, which is an idolatrous terminology. It's not to me, and you worship. You think I don't see that. Well, Ezekiel, I want you to dig this hole because I want you to see the hypocrisy that's going on. So he brought me to the entrance of the court. I looked, I saw a hole in the wall. He said, human being, dig in, and then you will see. So I went in, looked, and there, carved on the walls all around, were every kind of reptile, repulsive animal, along with all the idols of the house of Israel. So now, from verse number 10, I have to assume that the things that are written in Leviticus chapter 11, of all the things that are an abomination to the Most High, were on this wall. Standing in front of them, my goodness, standing in front of them were 70 of the leading men of the house of Israel. In the center stood Yaazan Yahu, the son of Saphan. Each man had his incense burner in his hand. A thick cloud of incense went up. Then he said to me, human being, see, did you see what the leaders of the house of Israel are doing in the dark? Each one in the room of his own carved image, because they say, Yahweh cannot see us. Yahweh has left the land. How is it that he doesn't see he's left the land, but every Sunday, oh, did you feel the presence of God? We had the presence of God in this house. Hey, I can say this because I was once there. I once did that. But now that I'm here and I recognize truth, and I understand what the presence of the Most High feels like, it's altogether a different subject. One of the prophets writes and says these words. Can't remember which one and where. He says these words. Why should we obey the commandments of the Most High? And why should we obey his teaching? After all, he's not here. Sounds like the words of a child. I did this. I did this. I did this. Well, mom and dad have gone on vacation. They're going to be gone for 2 weeks. They're not here. So why doesn't Robert throw a party? After all, they're not here. They can't see. So I cleared the living room out, moved the furniture out, and we had a wonderful house party. Now, remember something from me, y'all don't know this. The house that I lived in was next door to the church of worship. So the parking lot is in front of the house, and I had all my friends out there in front of that. So I told them, listen, y'all, we're going to have a party, but don't leave any of your bottles outside on the parking lot. Okay? This is Saturday night. So we got Sunday worship coming. I forgot to go check the parking lot. But I said, they're not here. They can't see. But somebody saw that caused them to see, and they believe that what I did, I did. And I did it. So Israel says he doesn't see. Now, he brought me to the entrance of the north gate to Yahweh's house. Now remember, he said, you're going to see disgusting things, more than disgusting than what you've seen, what you're seeing now. I'm going to show you something else. And there before me, now, before I leave that, let's deal with the elders. Come on, y'all. The prophets, the leading men of the house of Israel, with their incense burning in dark room carved out, and they're saying he does. The leaders have led Israel astray. Now the women are weeping for Tammuz, the Elohim of fertility, who was conceived supernaturally, just like JC. He predates JC. However, their birth is associated with the winter solstice, December 25th. Died, rose again, did all those things. They are weeping for this idolatrous deity. Human being, he asked me. Remember, I can't see. Have you seen this? You see this, you will see practices even more disgusting than these. Brought me into the inner court of Yahweh's house, and there at the entrance of the temple, between the porch and the altar, there were 25 men with their backs toward the temple of Yahweh and their faces toward the east. What were they looking at? They were worshiping the sun toward the east. Now, remember, he said, you will even see practices even more disgusting. What's more disgusting to the Most High than sun worship? Because this is what he's seeing. Indicative of the sun, they were facing the sun. They were worshiping the sun toward the east. Notice that the Most High says you will see even more disgusting practice. Then he mentions what it is. It's sun worship, that which you see to this day. Sun worship, the Most High calls it disgusting. Now, If I go to the mitzvot, and tomorrow's dinner is going to be filled with platters of ham. And there's going to be slathers of barbecue pork ribs celebrating the goddess Astarte, from which comes the word Easter. It's going to happen on this disgusting day that's called sun worship. He asked me, human being, you see this? Does the house of Yehuda consider it a casual matter that they committed the disgusting practices they are committing here, thus filling the land with violence, provoking me even more? Look, they're even putting the branch to their nose. Therefore, I will act in fury, and my eye will not spare. I have no pity. Even if they cry loudly right in my ears, I will not listen. Let's do verse 9, chapter 9, we're going to quit. Because there's nothing deep in here to pull out in these chapters, other than to see this disgusting issue. Then he cried aloud right in my ears. This is the Most High speaking to Ezekiel. Summon the commanders of the city, each holding his weapon of destruction. At once, 6 men approached on the path from the upper gate to the north, each man holding his weapon of destruction. Among them was a man clothed in linen, with a scribe's writing equipment at his waist. They entered and stood by the bronze altar. Then the glory of Yahweh Elohim was made to go up from over the cherubim where it had been to the threshold of the house. He called to the man clothed in linen, who had the scribe's writing equipment at his waist. Yahweh said to him, go throughout the city, through all Jerusalem. Now listen to what we're doing here. Go through all the city, through all Jerusalem, put a mark on the foreheads of the men who are sighing and crying over the disgusting practices that are being committed in it. We use a phrase that is often said, when I see the blood, speaking about Israel's departing from Mitzrayim, I will pass over you. Now the Most High is saying, there are people that are part of me that are sighing. They are moaning. They are complaining about the disgusting practices that are going. I want you to mark them. I want you to cut them out. Oh, Moses, I want you to do something. I see my people down there. They got this golden calf that they built. I want you to go down and I want you to deal with it. And Moses went down. He said these words. He said, okay, I'm gonna mark those of you that are right. All of you that are for Yahweh, come forward. He separated them. Okay? There's separation here. He said, now I want you to turn and kill all the rest of them. Verse 5. To the others, I heard him say, go through the city after him and strike. Don't let your eyes spare, have no pity, kill old men, young men, girls, little children, women, slaughter them all. But don't go near anyone with the mark beginning at my sanctuary. Now, Hebrew Israel, you have a mark on you. What's the mark? The mark is Torah. But there's a lot of Hebrews who have Torah, but do they have the complete mark, and is it written on their heart? Because these people here, going back to verse number 4, go throughout the city and mark the foreheads of them who are sighing and crying over the disgusting practice that are being committed in it. We have Hebrew Israel that are still worshiping this idol demigod. Kill him. Kill him. They began with the leaders in front of the house. Then he said to them, defile the house, fill the courtyard with corpses, get going. So they went out, spreading death in the city. While the killing was going on, I was left alone. I fell on my face, cried, and said, "O Yahweh Elohim, in pouring out your fury on Jerusalem, are you going to destroy everyone left in Israel?" Well, no, he's already said he's going to spare the remnant. Then he said to me, the wickedness of the house of Israel and Yehudah is enormous. The land is full of blood. The city is full of justice denied, because they say Yahweh He said in verse 9, the wickedness of the house of Israel is enormous. The land is full of blood. The city is full of justice denied, because they say that Yahweh has left the land. Yahweh does not see. But as far as I'm concerned, my eyes, since I see you, since you say I don't see, my eye will not spare. I will have no pity, but I will bring the consequences of their ways on their own heads. At this point, the man clothed in linen with the writing equipment at his waist returned and reported, I have done everything you ordered me to do. What's the moral of this of these chapters that I've read through? The moral is this: if there's anything that I want you all to recognize, and what I want you to pass down to your children and your children's children when you have an opportunity to do so, is help them to understand that Yahweh can get very angry. And when he gets very angry, he will exact justice. The critical thing that we need to impart to our people is being able to understand and be able to see the justice, that the judgment that's being exacted, so that they themselves might have an opportunity to turn and change. We get back to an earlier chapter in Ezekiel that we read last week. If you see the sword coming upon your friend, warn them. Give them an opportunity to turn and change. Then their blood won't be required at your hand. If you are confronted by a righteous man who has turned wicked by not following the ways of the Most High, you have a responsibility to warn that wicked man so that he will have an opportunity to change. But in your opportunity and in your aspect of warning, also help them to see and understand the Most High's judgment. So when it falls upon them, they will at least have an opportunity to recognize what's happening, as opposed to saying, oh, I just got sick. No, you didn't just get sick. This sickness has been harboring in your heart, and now the Most High is just allowing it to manifest to show his judgment. Even in the Most High's judgment and death being certain, watch this now, even and death being certain, you have an opportunity to cleanse your heart. Give them that opportunity, because they're not going to see it and they're not going to recognize it. I try to be very diplomatic with people. The prophets aren't the prophets are not diplomatic. They are not. They are straightforward. They're going to tell you, oh, no, you're going to die. You got a choice. You can turn or die. There's no diplomacy with them. If you didn't hear anything between chapter 6 and verse 9, hear how disgusted the Most High is with the practice of Mithraism, sun worship. He hates it. Realize that he said, oh, look, the leaders of Israel have turned their back and they're facing the east. They've turned their back toward that which is light, and they're facing the east, and they've lit their censers. They are doing sun worship. I'm going to destroy their temple. I'm going to destroy their land. I'm going to destroy the high places where they've gone to worship, the mountains. If I'm reading Ezekiel right, destruction is on its way to those who will not hear. To those of you today that are with us in this house, I thank you for your coming. I thank you for your participation. Those of you who have been listening, and if you've gotten anything out of what's taken place today, scan the QR code, send us your offering, either by scanning the QR code or sending your donations to our P.O. Box 221720, Sacramento, California, 95822. We're here to do one thing, and that's to tell you what thus says the King of Israel, Yahweh Elohim. Yevarekaka, Yahweh v'ishmeaka. Ya'er Yahweh panav aleka v'kanuka. Yasa Yahweh panav aleka v'yasam l'kash shalom. May Yahweh bless you, keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you and give you peace. Until next time, shalom.